couple journey where we are going to talk about the J1 waiver updates on how we did it DIY. This is going to be my way of sharing our ideas since I got my J1 waiver. Now I am a green card holder from being a J1 teacher with 212E rule from the Philippines. This channel is dedicated for those who are looking for ways on how to waive their 212E rule home residency requirement, especially that you are from a country like the Philippines where the no objection statement is really hard to come by. So, with the thing that we have here, I would like to say that I am blessed because I got married to my US citizen spouse, which is one way for you to get a waiver through exceptional hardship. So, for those who have no other ways and are asking, especially from those that are J1 teachers and J1 visa holders with our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, one of the question that says there is, how about if I don't have a spouse or a US citizen child? So what are my options? You can submit no objection statement, but it is very hard if you come from the Philippines. There's also persecution, asylum. There's also interested government agency and Conrad 30 program that is specifically for those that are in the medical field. But based on my experience, I got my waiver as a J1 teacher because I got married to my US citizen spouse. Some of you are asking, maybe you got a waiver because your husband has a severe medical condition. The answer is no. We got our waiver because we submitted all the evidences that was being asked by the USCIS and the Department of State. So the first thing we did was we submitted the Form I-130 that is through online. My husband did that one. I prepared our birth certificates, marriage license, taxes. We also have wedding photos and specific things that are needed in order for us to have the um, evidences. So right after we have the form I-130, you have to submit your money. It could be check, credit card, or money order. In our case, we did the money order. The other thing is we submitted the form I-130A, which is the supplemental evidences that is pertaining to the spouse of the US citizen. That is free and it should be included. You can do it paper filing or you can do it online. In my case, I did it online. So it's really up to you to do online or you can do it through paper filing. But nowadays, it's really nice to do online because they will give you priority and less payment if you do Form I-130 online. The next thing I submitted was the Form I-612. Now, do not be confused with the Form I-612 and the DS-3035. The Form I-612 is your waiver you wanted to submit to the USCIS. The DS-3035 is a waiver that you need to submit to the Department of State. Now, why do these two come together? Because here's the thing. The USCIS will be the one to grant your waiver officially. The Department of State, you will need a favorable recommendation from them. So, how about the evidences? Well, the Form I-612 and the DS-3035 has almost the same evidences. Well, in fact, I submitted my Form I-612 first because it will take longer compared to the DS-35. And the final issuance of the approved notice is from the USCIS. So make sure you submit your Form I-612 if you wanted to get a waiver if you are subject to the 212E rule home residency requirement. Next, submit the DS-3035 because that is your way for the Department of State to start working with your papers. If you wanted to know more details, just go to travel.state.gov or just type in Google how to process J1 waiver through the Department of State DS-3035. And then another thing, you can Google how to file Form I-612. Now, it is very important to overwhelm the USCIS with your evidences. You need to have statement of reasons. Now, in our website, we have our statement of reasons there. It's really up to you to take a look at that one. And I pull up our website here, powerfulcouplejourney.com. So this is one of our evidences, which is the letter from our um, licensed psychotherapist. So that is one of our evidences. It's really, really important to have that because it's nice to really secure an evidence that was from a professional licensed person that has to sit with your husband or sit with your wife to know their hardship. It's really hard to submit if you don't know what you're talking about. Before, I am so confident that because my husband is a US citizen, we will get the waiver right away. But no, it's not like that. You have to show the hardship that your spouse is facing based on your arguments or based on your claim. That's why most of the people are hiring a lawyer when it comes to submission of their waiver because they know that the lawyer has the nuances or they have the ways to secure the wordings, to secure the different kinds of things to fill up or fill out the necessary questionnaires that needed to be done in your case. Now, the other thing too that we have is if you would like to get it, it's really simple. We have our checklist. Visit powerfulcouplejourney.com. It's really up to you. We're not forcing you. Those are sample letters. Those are sample checklists we have. I did it DIY, submitted my papers from June 2021. I got my green card November 2023. So it's a long process and nobody taught me how to do this. And this is my way of sharing my ideas to you. I even paid um, hourly to a lawyer, but I don't have my lawyer on my own. Nobody processed my papers. I don't have the G28. G28 is where the lawyer has to put their name, their license, because they wanted to protect themselves too. I don't have a lawyer on my own, but I paid for the lawyer in order for me to have their session. I paid for the lawyer in order for me to have like consultation. So this is my way of sharing to you, and it's not even $100. Some of the amount here are only $3.49, $1.49 because it's our way of sharing your ideas. I mean, our ideas to you, and this is our way of helping the mountain pastors in the Philippines. Well, in fact, I already sent some money there to widen the ministry in Siquijor, Philippines, which is one of the ministry that I am supporting in the Philippines. So thank you so much for those who are purchasing. May God bless you and give you abundant blessings because you are supporting this humble journey that we have through the website powerfulcouplejourney.com. Now let's go back to the process. Secure the DS-3035. Now, what are the things that you have to do? We have here sample letters from our pastor, sample letters from our friends and family. You could also have monthly budget. It's very important to have your monthly budget. If you'll say, well, I know how to make the monthly budget, well, do it. The only thing that I'm telling you is make sure that you also have a statement from your spouse that says, this is our monthly budget. If my wife has to go back to their home country, just like the Philippines, it's really hard for me to budget, especially that she has a specific um, amount to contribute to our household expenses. And after that, make sure that you have your bank statement. That's why joint bank account is very important. It doesn't need to be thousands of dollars. It's just $50, $100. Just build it over time. That way, there's commingling. It's very important. Why would I say the word commingling? The reason for that is we got an RFE, or request for evidence, from the USCIS asking us, where is the commingling of you two? You just got married April 2021, and then you submitted your form, and then within the 4 months. So you don't have the commingling yet. So we really showed to them that prior to getting married, we already established the bank account. We already have a car payment on my name, but it is between my husband and my name. So it's like there is already a relationship that has already been built, because the USCIS is looking at the legitimate relationship, because we know some people are just paying some people to get a green card. Well, that's not in our case. So make sure that you overwhelm the USCIS with your evidences than not having evidences at all. Because if you get an RFE, that means it's another delay on the process. But it might be a blessing in disguise. That way, you still have plenty of time to process with your waiver. We know waivers are hard to get, and it will take a year or two in order for you to get the final approval. Now, make sure you have your medical diagnosis as well. We have here letter from our medical doctor. My husband doesn't have a severe sickness or illness, but because he has anxiety and he has depression, PTSDs, you name it, because of the processing we have with the USCIS, his doctor is very smart. He included that one in the letter, and we put that as our evidence. And that is part of showing that we are not just claiming it on our own, the hardship, but with the medical doctor, but with our psychological therapist and our church pastor, our friends and family. There are a lot of things that we put there that helped us to process our papers, even though there's bumps because of the request for evidences, but it helped us to realize that they are really reading our papers, and it helped us to get an approval. Then, if you are married to your US citizen spouse and you already had like 3 months, 4 months of submission with your form I-612 and your DS-3035, you can start submitting your adjustment of status, which is the form I-485. You can have your work permit, which is the I-765, and you have the travel document, which is the I-131. It's really up to you if you wanted to submit those. Before 2024, you can have concurrent filing, which means you can submit your Form I-485 and your, what they call this one, your work permit and your travel document is free. But now everything has to be paid. Even though you submit them together, everything has to be paid, which means the I-485 has a separate payment, the Form I-765 is a separate payment. Another thing is the travel document. Now, if you submit all those papers, granting you're married to your US citizen spouse, make sure that you have or receive the notice of receipt. So keep that one, and always make sure that you have the case number, and you put your um, or you enter the case number on the online portal for the USCIS and the Department of State. I have one J1 teacher posting the problem with the J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, saying that she received a biometrics appointment last week of August, but she haven't gone to the biometrics because she didn't know, she didn't receive any papers from the USCIS. Well, do not wait for the papers from the USCIS. They have an online portal already. So make sure you check every other day or check every day for your papers, for the receipt notice, because most of the time they are overwhelmed as well with lots of applications with the immigration. So it's your responsibility to know when is the submission and what are the things you have to prepare in order for you to know and check that one online. Now, if you missed your biometrics, you can email them or message them, might be, and ask them for another biometrics time. And that way, you can reschedule and they can give you another time to do your biometrics. So again, this is only applicable for those who are married to their US citizen spouse. That's why it's very, very important to know this. You are blessed if you got married to your US citizen spouse because they have the power to let you have a work permit while you are still in the process of doing your adjustment of status, because the USCIS know that you need to work, you need to earn a living, and you need to make sure that you have food on the table. So that is their way of giving um, good leeway to those that are married to the US citizen. So if you submit those, you are good to go. Now, the agony of waiting. So in order for you to stop having like anxiety about your paperworks, think about the timeline. Think about the processing time. Look at that one every single time because it will change in a month or in a week, in a day. Check the processing time. It's very important. If you do it yourself, be like a lawyer, act like a lawyer where you know your papers. And this is the best part if you do it DIY. You would know right away, or you would know the processing because you did it yourself. Not unless if you have a lawyer, you're still gonna wait for them like, hey, what's my process? Hey, how's my paper? Something like that. So it's you have that sense of authority to your own case. So make sure to keep that. I even have some paperwork still in my box that is helpful enough for me to really secure. And I always pray to the Lord to give me the approval notice. I always wanted to, because there's two things, either approved or denied, approved or denied. I always put in mind approved, 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 because that's what you wanted to get. That's what you are aiming for. You get an approval notice from the USCIS. Now, make sure all your papers are submitted, and I know you also need to submit your medical records, which is the I think the form 8 I-863. But I did that one last because I know if it's passed for 2 years, you need to submit another one, which is very expensive and time consuming. So make sure you submit your papers properly, especially if you are really into doing it on your own. So we are not forcing you to go to the website powerfulcouplejourney.com, but that is our way of showing to you those are the papers that helped us to do it DIY. And now I'm a green card holder. After 3 years, I can get an examination for being a US citizen. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities, not just being a green card holder. So, for those that are aspiring to get their J1 waiver, we are really encouraging you to find ways to read, to listen to podcasts, to look at different kinds of um, videos in YouTube that are sharing their experiences when it comes to J1 waiver. Now, I also have some J1 teachers asking me, Emery, what are the ways for us to go to the US? They are from the Philippines and they wanted to do it on their own and they don't want to spend a lot. Well, I created an essential guide, which is this is a template of the complete steps, less fees, and learn as you go. And this is only like less amount of money. And again, we are helping pastors, mountain pastors in the Philippines. And once you purchase this, thank you so much because it goes to them. So with this one right here, it will give you the step-by-step process and it will allow you to think prior to coming here in the US, what are your priorities? Should I have a lot of PLIs or loans? Should I have lots of references? What am I supposed to do? Should I go H1B or J1? So, and you also have like visa sponsors that you could go, the FCE, foreign credential evaluation, with your TOR or your diploma. You could take a look at that one. It's very easy. Take a look at that, share it to your friends, share it to aspiring J1 teachers or aspiring H1B teachers who are wanting to come here in the US. So again, it's really up to you if you wanted to do it DIY or have a lawyer. I have a friend which is messaging me earlier today asking if is it good to do DIY? The answer is it depends on your needs. It depends on your finances. Because in my case, I don't want to spend $10,000, $15,000, or even $20,000 for a lawyer that will tell me it's not guaranteed. Because we went to Orlando and asked for a lawyer that was recommended to us that are processing J1 waivers. They said that our um, case is not strong enough. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So if you're a lawyer or if you are trying to have a lawyer, ask them immediately, do I have a strong case? Do I have a very good argument? If they say, I might not able to tell you, then move forward, find another lawyer, or show it to them, tell them through the free consultation. Tell them about the things that you think are very strong towards your waiver. Again, you are asking for a benefit. Waiver is a benefit, it's given to you as a non immigrant. So make sure you are working towards your papers properly. You are working towards the approval of your paper. So if I were you, look at lots of resources, read in the internet, find other ways. If you wanted to get our sworn statement letter, there is one that I have, or let your husband find a sworn statement letter that my husband have. It's 8 pages. So that's how long it is when it comes to statement of reasons and the sworn statement. It's not just 1, 2, 3 pages. No, you have to really make sure that you created a very compelling sworn statement. That way, the USCIS officer would know that you are giving them all the juice, all the information they need to approve your papers. So, for those that are still having um, good intentions with their US citizen spouse and really wanting to get their waiver, so weigh the pros and the cons of doing it yourself or proceed with an immigration lawyer. There are already a lot of J1 teachers in our group, J1 Waiver Helping Hands in Facebook. So just agree to group rules and I will accept you immediately. I'm the only admin on that one because I created that last year, really aiming to help other J1 teachers that are facing the same problems as I have before, that nobody taught me on how to process the J1 waiver. But I promise to the Lord, once I get my J1 waiver, this is my way of sharing to you guys with the ideas that we have. So the videos that we created here are solely for those that are seeking for J1 waivers. You could do it with a lawyer or you could do it by yourself. So I'm gonna show like different kinds of evidences that we have here in the years, I mean, in the few days to come. And we have a regular schedule on posting. It's gonna be Monday, 7 a.m. Florida time for our videos. Then Wednesdays, I do live video, and I might do another live video every Sunday because after church, prior to going to a nap, I will make sure that I present myself some ideas to you. And these are the questions that are coming from the J1 teachers and J1 visa holders that are part of our J1 Waiver Helping Hands. Again, don't forget to visit POWELLfulCoupleJourney.com if you wanted to see different kinds of digital template that you wanted to follow. So it's really up to you guys to take a look and making sure that you have a sample template. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Always take care. And this channel is really here to help you educate, uplift, and inspire. God bless and have a great day.